go ahead and do this video now, since I did the last one just a few minutes ago, and I'll do this one now. Benico is a part of an alliance of interdimensional beings fighting a war against forces of darkness and evil. In spirit box sessions from other people, this force calls itself the Omega Aquarians, and the force that they're fighting is a reptilian species. Not all reptilian entities are evil and bad, but they're calling themselves the Ool. That's O-O-L, Ool. If you're familiar with the Amityville Horror, the true story, a man goes crazy in 1974 and kills his family. The Lutz family moved in sometime later. Again, their story is very true. This father was possessed, and then there was this story they found out that the house was built 1600s. It was very old, and some gunning. There's all this backstory comes out of the house as having a lot of issues of torture and violence and killing. Some of the people that died there remain there, but what was possessing the people in this house to begin with? Even this man centuries earlier. We have a refugee, a renegade from the Ool living in the basement down in a well located in the property that the Omega Aquarian Alliances and the Solar Wardens, which is an offshoot of the Omega Aquarians. Solar Wardens of the 10th Fleet is an organization of human beings and extraterrestrials cooperating together to defend the Earth against these forces. Now the human race is being expected to stand up with their backs, with some backbone, and take care of this business on their own without having to rely on ETs to do it for them. So the Omega Aquarians are helping in that endeavor without breaching their own prime directive of no contact. This is based upon contracts and treaties of what is permittable with a civilization as fractured as this one, because the planet Earth is so divided over hundreds of different languages and nations. If you were to fly a UFO or a fleet of ships over every nation at once and say, here we are, there would be a war all over the planet, and they know this. A lot of paranoias and angers going on between nations, and so the Russians would look at these ships and say those are American spy ships, and the Americans would say those are Russian spy ships, and so. But there is also a pressing need to push ahead the contact here and begin the Solar Warden Initiative. Solar Warden Initiative is two-part. It's both physical and a kind of interdimensional non-physical, and both are very valid. Don't put too much. Don't put all your money in the bank of physical, and say, well, if it's a physical contact, then it's more important than a non-physical. You'd be wrong in saying that. You'd be wrong, because you can do a great deal more in the non-physical than you can in the physical. You can travel light years across the galaxy in the non-physical sense through interdimensional travel in their starships. In a physical sense, that would take a great deal more resource and time to do this. And they can change the frequency of matter, solid matter, and turn it into something less dense than something like this, and it would just become a field of light. And it would resonate into higher dimensions, and then that ship could then travel anywhere, dense in its matter up again, and return to this dimension. This is something I found in my travels as a maintenance person. We'll get get to that in another video. It's actually probably just nothing, but there's some strange stories behind that. So she's a part of that initiative, as I am, and together, collectively, we essentially just fight corruption and crime in this world. My endeavor, my mission, primarily has been focused on revealing her presence and her existence to the world, as well as revealing the corruption and the pain and suffering of my real mother in my past, and what she went through with the Mafia and the Central Intelligence Agency, the CIA, and exposing that corruption in Hollywood, California, as I am this lost son of an actress who is now dead. I could even go as far as to say who my father was, but I would like to say for the record that my real father is also dead. He's deceased. And he was an actor also. That I was the product of an affair between the two of them. And very powerful people around the families in California decided my fate early on, having nothing to do with my mother and her husband at the time. Had no part in this, nor my real father. But when I was born in a California hospital, I was removed immediately from the equation, as I'm only half Italian. My mother was Italian. My real father was Caucasian. And he knew my mother's first husband very well. In fact, he worked under him. That's all I can say about that. So it was the first time ever since her death in 2013 I've ever spoke of this. I've ever said this publicly. And I don't intend to give his name. The fact that she had an affair aggravates the hell out of the surviving half-siblings that I have in California and Oklahoma, because they know that she had this affair. And I'm sure it bothers the hell out of them. It exposes everything. The issues she had. Well, she divorced her first husband, their father, anyways. So it's not as if she died married to him. But for them to say that that's wrong to say this or that would be, it's just not moral. I'm your brother, for God's sakes. Come on. She's dead. I mean, she wanted the contact, but they have, to my knowledge, made an oath never to have contact with me because they're going to protect their father to their last dying breath. There's also a great deal of money involved, so there's a lot of issues. There's also a lot of mafia, CIA involvement. Their lives are at stake and in danger. They have their families to think about. So to be fair on them, their reason for not having contact with me is a fair one. But that's the past. That was said. That's gone. And I don't intend to harp on that because I'm not here to be a historian. I'm here to be the person to help with the future, to help push on the message and what's happening in the 21st century and what will be happening. I do have a lot of information that Beniicos has given me, and a lot of information that you need to know about will be in future videos. Write it down, pass it on, do whatever you want with it. You don't even have to say my name. I'm not important. It's the message that's important. But you need to know that in the next year, in the next few years, a great deal is about to happen globally on this planet with regards to political issues, this planet, things of that nature. This goes back to the Amityville thing for just a moment. This reptilian Ool has been there for centuries. He's a renegade. Probably was there in a cave system before the house was even built. Priests and Catholic priests have got it dead wrong. They go out there, holy water and crosses, and they've seen it. And well, obviously it looks green. It must be a demon. A very archaic and primitive religious allegoric terminology is thrown on this renegade, this refugee. He may be hiding down there. I don't know. They live a long time. I don't really know. I don't care. I wouldn't be afraid of it. It wouldn't have any influence over me anyways. My connection to Benico guarantees that. I could spend all month or a year in that house and haven't any influences of any kind, and I wouldn't run from anything either. I have confronted them in the past, in my past, where people then shouted, "Demons, demons," and those aren't demons. But they know that I'm an emissary of an Arcturian civilization, of a being like Benico, and here to help, not to save you, but to just be a guide, to kind of play police officer, if you will, to play cop. And renegades like that, living in basements of houses, have to be arrested. And they have to be given over to the authorities, which are the Omega Aquarians. There was an ancient war against humanoids in this planet long ago, during the time of the dinosaurs. I didn't mean to go on. I didn't want to make a long video because I just started getting into my videos, and that's what I've got. I had my headset on. I was getting into my videos, and I was relaxing. I just thought, well, I need to go ahead and do a quick run up on the other video. I'm not going to do another video for a while yet because I've got work to do, and I'm in my company I'm in. I am still in an undisclosed location. I'm not anywhere on government radar. But in any case, the message is what's important. You don't have to pray to these beings. They love you already and accept you without you having to do or be anything, or change your lifestyle. You can carry on believing whatever you want to believe in. But if your influences are in the sphere of evil or darkness, you want to hurt people or you want to harm others, you're going to come up on their radar. You're on the other side of the fence with them. They know that what's behind you is another influence, a serpent civilization that is at war with humankind, basically. They blame the human race for the destruction of their world, which was long ago. And they detonated a weapon here on this planet, you know, as the comet that you think destroyed the dinosaurs. And this basically led to the extinction of that humanoid race. Many of them ascended beyond this world to other dimensions or whatnot, and have returned thusly in the form and guise of humanoid beings that are colored in white light and help people, and you call them angels. There is an old civilization that has been caretakers of the universe. You could also put them in the category of higher ranking angels if you want to think that way. I'm not saying that Christianity gets it wrong, or any Buddhist or Muslim or anybody gets it right or wrong. I'm just saying that a lot of what you're getting in your faith is correct, and you have to, whether it be Hindu or it's all, which one is correct? I would say all of them are basically correct in a sense. But if any faith, I will say this very, very fervently, any faith-based system that preaches harming each other, punishment of each other, raping or harming or mutilating or causing any harm to other people or forcing people to do things they don't want to do, is under an influence of this ool, the ools. Sounds like a stupid name. The ools. I didn't come up with that name. There it is. That's their name. And so it's very important to know that this is a very old war. The current incarnation on this planet of human race was created in recent times, in the last 1.5 million years, and supplanted here. For different reasons. You know, there was initially it was a slave labor, and you tried rebelling against them at the time, and they manipulated your genetics and your DNA to make you frightened of anything not like you, and gave you this idea of division. Thus, you created different languages. Thus, you created different nations. Now you go to war with each other, and you're frightened of anything that doesn't look like you. So they know how to manipulate you genetically so that you remain servant to them. But this civilization is kind of going off to the side here. these races have arrived and are saying it's time to enter the galactic community. That's my video. But my experiences with her, thusly, she's been telling me, Beniicos been telling me of her conflict and battles with these beings in other dimensions and what they're doing. And I do get aggravated from what she tells me, that there's some of the things that go on concern me greatly for her well-being, but she's okay. But she's quite indestructible, quite indestructible. She has she loves everybody, but she does have a special love for children, and is often protecting children without them being aware of it. So if there are any small children, whether dead or alive, she protects them. She goes after the souls of children and pulls them from the clutches of those that would harm them, and often those that are lost. So a lot of times children that have passed, have died, are kind of lingering around cemeteries at night yelling, "Where's my mom? Where's my mom?" And she's arrived to save them and bring them home to this other dimension where they can all be together. So she does do a lot of wonderful things. Beniicos is very loving. I love her very much. And so our love is very pure, very real, very compassionate, very nurturing. It has a lot of nurturing, nourishing kind of interaction going on. And she's very close. I mean, she is in me. She's a part of me. She's in my heart. This connection forever changed me. You know, I'm not saying I was a bad man before, but I probably wasn't someone that, before the Beniicos experience and the connection with her, I was just an ordinary guy. I was like anybody. You know, I had my interests and dislikes or whatnot, and I like anybody, I admit that I wouldn't have had any objection to sitting down and watching some bikini movie, and it objectifies women a bit. Oh, well, you know, I was a bit of a, you know, I was just an ordinary, maybe that's not an ordinary guy, but I mean, I was, I don't think that's a good idea to objectify women, but at the time, before the connection with her, before the bonding, before the fusion with her, I would say it's like hearing a guy talk about his life before he found Christ, you know. And before I found Jesus, I was this kind of guy. Hallelujah. You know, I don't. This is not a religion. She's a physical, real, living being. But I think I just wanted to illustrate just briefly there in what ways she's changed me, and it's for the better. But she doesn't judge me. She's very non-judgmental. She doesn't look at me and say, "Oh, I'm judging you. Shame on you." So at the end of the day, there it is. There's my video. Look for something to happen this year. It will reach the media in a massive way. Both a natural, what you may see as a natural disaster, and something on the political scene of things between countries. That's all I can say for now. They can see the future, and they're preparing to strike against the Ool. They're trying to stage some last-minute kind of large-scale battles with the Ool to, I don't know, completely knock them out of this sphere of dimension around this planet, and then gradually help the human race out of their shell after the war's over. But there you go. That's my video. I wanted to keep that short. I'm going to go on about it. But I'm a very empathetic person, compassionate person. I objectify nobody. I believe all people are equal, women and men including, women and men. I think the connection with her is such that it's such a deep, compassionate, empathetic feeling. I honestly feel for anyone trying to date me, because I find it difficult to consummate relationship things with someone, because I keep thinking so much about the other person. Even sexual contact becomes an issue, and I think, wait a minute. I want to do nothing to hurt you in any way at all. I mean, I don't even like the idea of just doing anything for the sake of pleasure. I have just an eruption of love, a volcanic blowing of love in my heart. Electric static of love just pouring for all things. Life, blades of grass, trees, people. I want to just do this in my life. I just want to do one thing. I don't mind that, having a partner in my life, a relationship with someone. I don't mind that. But I just want to spend my life in the service of that cause for light against darkness, and to just keep sharing that everlasting sense of compassionate feeling of love. That bond that I am sharing with her. I could make 1,000 videos over 20 years. It wouldn't make any difference. In all fairness, you don't need me sitting in this chair. You need her sitting here. Now that would get 50 million views. Look, and she's talking without her being interrogated by the CIA under drugs or spotlights. As you see in these alien interrogation videos, there's a being sitting there going, "Oh, your civilization was destroyed by nuclear war because of dogma, and your issues of," and then like drugging it and beating it up. And it would be wonderful to have her just sitting in this chair freely and openly without that happening. She doesn't understand. It's a little alien for her to see why that's important for you to look at her saying this rather than me. Because she looks at me and she says, "You are me and I'm you." And if the human race really understood that concept, then they wouldn't really be reaching out for a physical evidence of my existence, is what she'd say. And they wouldn't really be needing this primitive need to see visually me sitting in the chair saying these things and analyze my face. And for her, she would say, "You're listening to nothing that's being said." Beniicos would say, "You're paying only to the biology of my physiology, and all you'd be thinking about is the questions of our technology, but have no need to know who we are. So until you've grown up enough and adapted enough, the wider public is going to be forbidden from this." Unfortunately, because a lot of people aren't mature enough to really take this on board. So the wider public is going to be forbidden from this. And then, generally speaking, they're going to call me mentally ill. I don't care. Fine, go ahead. Heretic, paganism, Wiccan. You're against God, damn you, and rebuke sinner, and whatever. Oh, okay. Say what you want. I'm not bothered. I have her. She has me. We have a love here that's very special, very sweet. We are never alone. We have each other. Our bond is very deep. You have to watch out for the fakes and phonies. The people have seen my videos and heard me talk about how Beniicos said there are human aspects of her walking around on Earth. I am a human aspect of her, first and foremost, because we are connected, we are one. So to prevent any of these fakes from arriving, future fakes, and there have been a few that have jumped on my face, tried to get on my Facebook, women who've shown up saying, I'm her Jason, I'm Beniicos aspect. And it's some spiritual guru woman showing up. I am not going to add you to Facebook. You go away. I know better. You're not her. That is so detracting and distracting from what needs to be done. You need to be hearing what I say. If you so decide that you want to listen, that's up to you. I can only bring you the truth. I didn't say it was going to be easy. The truth is what it is. And you don't have to listen to this. And you don't have to believe any of it either. And you can keep looking for that girl to sit in this chair in my place. That day will come, yes. It'll be on a stage somewhere in front of everybody on television. There'll be a lot of others, and she and I will be sitting together in front of national television or international television when it all comes out. That will not be forever, ever. 90 years from now, it will be at some point. I don't know when. But sadly, again, it will be the media just be staring directly at this extraterrestrial human hybrid female and more of the physiology and more of the technology questions. And they won't even deal. We don't want to hear about Jason. We don't care about Jason. We don't care. Again, you can't. That's going to take some time to grow out of the adolescence and grow up for the human race to stop looking for those things and start focusing more on here. Okay? I mean, you still live in a world that puts a lot of emphasis on Avon and says, you know, when you have a planet that believes in makeup, appearance, clothing fashion, skin color. I mean, these things are, eye color. Oh, he's got blue eyes. How crooked are your teeth? How straight are they? There's this emphasis that is a bit pre-adolescent in a civilization in that sense. It's rather adolescent. I've adopted 2 dolphins they're a pod. It's a loach pod, they call them. It's a loach pod, 2 dolphins from the WWF. I would encourage you to do the same. Please donate and adopt pets or endangered species. Thank you for watching.